Hello, my name is Sylvia Hill. I'll be doing the Welcoming Change webinar today, and I'm going to be turning my camera off because I'm going to talk through a PowerPoint that I'm going to share. All right. Here we go. So, welcoming change. When we think about change, it happens to us all the time. Change, it can happen at any time. It can happen to you, or you can witness it happen to somebody else. These changes, they can come from a political environment, work environment, school environment. It can be the weather, a friend, from your doctor, family, and then just other possibilities as well. It can be something that you really wanted, you wished for, maybe you have prayed about, or it can be something that you were afraid was going to happen. So what does welcoming change mean? It means accepting the act, process, or result of altering or modifying something that happens in your life. Life is a roller coaster of inevitable change that happens to us from birth. So from the moment you start kicking and screaming into this world, change starts happening to you. It can be your physical change, emotional change, change in school, career, relationship. Change, it just happens anywhere. So let's talk about school, because most of us are in school, we're college students, or we work with college students. And, from the moment you graduate high school, no, let's back it up. From the moment you graduate from junior high or you promote to high school, things change. People say you lose your friends that were your friends in middle school and junior high, and then, you get new friends. Your life changes, and sometimes you don't even know it. People can tell you, oh, you changed. You used to be like this, but now you're like this. It's a change that sometimes you can't see. And then once you're done with high school, you're starting college, and that is a really big change. You're going from living with your parents. I mean, some college students still live with their parents, but for instance, some don't. They go and they move on and they're living in a dorm or renting a apartment with some friends. And it's change. We all go through it. Sometimes it's good change and sometimes it's bad change. But when change happens, especially when we decide for it not to, like it's not decided by us, sometimes your life tends to be shaken up. And this can make us, give up on something. We may have to adapt to something. We may have to learn. Or, we may have to deal with new feelings that we've never had to deal with before. And that's okay. Change can be related to, one of the most positive forces in your life, or it can be that one thing that disrupts like your sense of routine and comfort, of course, that you have gained. When you accept change, you're in the driver's seat, and which is a good thing because you have the input of the process. You're the one driving. Decisions you make will guide your life. Keeping your personal power intact, that alleviates stress, and it gives you control over that change. Why is change inevitable? Well, it's inevitable because we can't live in the same spot forever. Life without change, it leads to a monotonous environment, meaning a dull, boring, repetitive life. And sometimes people enjoy that kind of life. I'm not saying it's bad, but sometimes change is good. And without change, there will be no mistakes made, so you won't be able to learn from those mistakes. And we always hear that saying, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or learn from your mistakes. Not all mistakes are bad mistakes. And that's true. But most importantly, change happens whether we're ready or not. It can be happening now. You know, our cells, they tend to change over a span of maybe 7 years, I want to say. Don't quote me though. Um, and that's change you don't even get to see. That's change that it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. And that's the same with us growing up. We really don't see change, but our parents do. Our teachers do. Our grandparents do. And even our friends do. Why do we resist change? Well, it's because we're comfortable. We're comfortable in our current situations. And, you know, people say, don't mess up something, or don't fix the not broken, or, you know, that term that maybe you hear your parents or grandparents saying, don't fix something that's not broken. You know, people tend to stay in their situations that they're in because of comfortability or the fear of failing, fear of uncertainty in new situations, trapped between maybe or maybe not. You know, nobody wants to leave the comfort to which they've been so accustomed to, you know, something that you're already made your way for, or you already know. You know, we fear risk or changing our situations. And I'm going to give you an example. Say you graduate college and you get offered a job, you take that job, and then you gain experience, and then you're offered another job. But you're kind of hesitant about accepting it. And then this is because, you know, we contemplate all the various options going around in our mind. Our mind, it kind of gets bombarded with so many things that prevent us from accepting change. We're uncertain about, you know, the new agency or the new workplace and the people that work there. We get scared of making the wrong decision and, you know, failing or falling flat on your face. We feel uncomfortable about shifting into a new system and adjusting to it. And everyone goes through it. Everyone feels that uncomfortability, and it's something common with all human beings. And then you're torn between the two. You know, many times we reject the opportunity and we forget, you know, change can be good and refreshing, but change is inevitable. And it also helps us explore our unexplored skills, talents, and capabilities. So if you just stay at one spot, you're not going to be able to allow yourself to grow. You're not going to be able to see the different things that you're capable of. So don't be afraid of change. It's not always bad. Here's some examples of life-changing events. Leaving or changing a job, like I had just mentioned, marriage or divorce, becoming a parent or adopting a child, starting a new school or deciding to go to college, moving, being called or from the military, becoming disabled, retiring. This type of change comes with a lot of different little tiny changes inside of it. And it's something that we have to adapt to. We have to become familiar with the newness of it. You have to find your new comfortability, but don't stay in it too long. Here's some tips on how to welcome change in your life. Acknowledge the change. You know, be aware that change can happen in your life. This means understanding that things can and will be different from how they are now. Acknowledging change, it's allowing it to happen when it unfolds instead of approaching change, from like a place of denial and resistance. Just see change as an opportunity. Accept change. Instead of resisting it, change to unfold, try to understand what's transforming and why. Circumstances will not turn out the way you want them to, and that's fine. That's perfectly all right. Embracing the situation, that can help you deal with change effectively. Make the necessary shifts in your life to embrace the change and eventually help you move forward after that event. Learn from the experience. If you accept and embrace change, you'll start looking for and you'll start finding lessons in it. Like I said, learning from your mistakes. Even not even having a mistake, but just still learning from different experiences. When dramatic changes happen in your life, sometimes people refuse to acknowledge them at first, and that's fine too. So change, it leaves you distraught without meaning, but once you're able to reflect back and finally accept the change, you're able to see those lessons and you're able to see the things that you learn, the skills that you learn, how adaptable you are. And then that's when you recognize your growth. You're accepting it, you're embracing it, and you're learning from it. And that makes you inevitably grow stronger. It's the ability to continuously accept change that allows you to become as solid as a rock. Even in the craziest storms that are all around you, even if you feel afraid, you still grow. And embrace wisdom. When you proactively embrace change and learn to accept it as a part of your life, you'll be filled with calmness and peace and courage. Then when life fails to shake you up with its twists and its turns, and you realize that change can't break you anymore, that's you reaching a new level of understanding in life. And some people call it wisdom, so embrace it. When you can accept change and you can learn from it and you can become all the better for experiencing it, change is no longer your enemy. It's your teacher, something that you learn from. And who doesn't like to learn? And lastly, thrive in the progress change brings. Throw yourself into change. Set goals. Take yourself out of the box. Get yourself in uncomfortable situations. Keep an open mind. Try new things. Test different approaches. Think about the impact on all. Ask for and, be open to feedback. Criticism can be one of your biggest things. And sometimes people aren't even criticizing you to be mean or to belittle you. It's to help you learn. And then teach people about things that you've learned. Let them know that change isn't always scary. Change can be positive. And here are some important things to remember. Change is inevitable. It happens to anyone. Prepare for setbacks. But remember, you'll learn from them. View problems as opportunities to grow. And then allow you to learn or discover new skills. Do not fear change. Because remember, without growth, remember, like I said a few times, change isn't possible. Thank you.